The detention facility hummed with nervous energy as guards whispered about their newest prisoner. Zara of the Shadow Clan sat chained in the medical wing, her silver-blue skin marked with fresh wounds that would have killed any human. Her eyes, the color of storm clouds, tracked every movement in the room with predatory focus. Marcus entered, carrying his medical kit, his weathered hands steady despite the warnings he'd received. 35, he'd seen enough violence to recognize. A warrior when he met one. Zara's lean frame coiled with contained power, even bound in energy restraints that flickered against her skin. "Stay back, human," she snarled, her voice carrying the musical quality of her species mixed with barely controlled rage. I need no help from the likes of you." Marcus set his kit down slowly, keeping his movements deliberate and non-threatening. "Those wounds are infected. Without treatment, you'll be dead within days." Zara's laugh was sharp and bitter. Death would be preferable to accepting aid from those who slaughter children. The accusation hit Marcus like a physical blow. He'd lost his own daughter to a Catherian raid 3 years ago, the memory still raw. But looking at Zara's wounds, he saw only someone in pain who needed help. "I'm not here as your enemy," he said quietly. "I'm here as a doctor," she studied. His face, with those piercing eyes, searching for deception. Catherians possessed enhanced senses that could detect lies through pheromones and micro-expressions. Whatever she saw made her posture shift slightly. "Your people call us monsters," Zara said, testing him. "What makes you different?" Marcus rolled up his sleeves, revealing old scars from his military service. "Because I've been on both sides of violence. I've seen what hate does to people." For a moment, something flickered in Zara's expression. Surprise, perhaps, or recognition? Marcus approached slowly, his hands visible, till he was close enough to examine her injuries. The wounds were deep, inflicted by human plasma weapons during her capture. Her alien physiology was struggling to heal around the foreign energy burns. Without intervention, sepsis would set in within hours. "This will hurt," Marcus warned, preparing an antiseptic compound. "Pain is nothing to a Catherian warrior," Zara replied. But her voice had lost some of its edge. As Marcus worked, he noticed things the guards had missed. The careful way Zara held her left shoulder suggested old injuries that had never healed. Properly, the scars on her hands spoke of years of combat training from childhood. Most telling were the ritual markings on her forearms, signs of the Shadow Clan's elite warriors, those who fought not for glory, but to protect their families. "You're not what I expected," Marcus admitted, as he cleaned the worst wound on her. Rib's eyes narrowed. "What did you expect?" "Some savage beast." "Maybe," Marcus said honestly. "But you're defending something, aren't you? The way you move, the way you position yourself even while chained, you're protecting something even." Now, for the first time, Zara's composure cracked slightly. "My sister," she whispered. "She's all I have left." Marcus understood that desperation. He'd felt it himself when he'd held his daughter's lifeless body. "Where is she?" Zara said. Firmly, but Marcus caught the uncertainty in her voice as he applied healing gel to her wounds. Marcus made a decision that would change both their lives. "The war took my daughter. I won't let it take your sister too." Zara stared at him, confusion replacing hostility. "Why would you help me?" Marcus met her gaze steadily. "'Cause maybe it's time someone chose healing over hurting." Over the following days, Marcus returned repeatedly to treat Zara's wounds. Each visit brought subtle changes in their dynamic. Zara still watched him warily, but the raw hostility had softened into cautious curiosity. "Your healing methods are crude but effective," she observed as Marcus changed her bandages. Catherian physiology healed faster than human, but the plasma burns required careful attention. "We make do with what we have," Marcus replied. "Your people's regeneration abilities are remarkable, though. I've never seen tissue repair itself so quickly." Zara tilted her head, studying him. "You speak of us as if we're equals, not animals, aren't you?" Marcus asked simply. The question seemed to surprise her. Most humans see only our claws and fangs. They fear what they don't understand. "Fear makes people stupid," Marcus said. Cleaning a wound on her shoulder, "I prefer understanding." As days passed, Zara began sharing details about Catherian culture. Their society valued honor, and family above all else. Warriors like Zara were trained from childhood to protect their clans, their enhanced abilities coming from genetic modifications passed down through generations. The Shadow Clan is small now, Zara explained during one session. The war has taken most of our warriors. Only the women and children remain. Is that why you raided our settlement? Zara's jaw tightened. We needed medical supplies. Our young ones are dying from diseases your weapons introduced to our world. Marcus felt a chill of understanding. The raids weren't random acts of violence, but desperate attempts at survival. How many children? 12 in the last season, Zara whispered, including my niece. The pain in her voice was unmistakably real. Marcus found himself reaching out instinctively, his hand covering hers before he realized what he was doing. Allah. Didn't pull away. I'm sorry, he said. Their moment was interrupted by alarms blaring throughout the facility. Emergency lights bathed everything in red as voices shouted in the corridors outside. Riot in Sector 7. A guard's voice crackled over the intercom. All medical personnel report to emergency stations. Marcus grabbed his kit, but Zara caught his arm with surprising gentleness. Be careful, Marcus. Prison riots are ugly things. Use of his name sent an unexpected warmth through him. She'd been listening, remembering. Will you be all right here? Go help your people, Zara said firmly. Lives matter more than our war. Marcus hesitated at the door. In the red emergency lighting, Zara looked different, not the fierce warrior he'd first met, but someone capable of compassion, despite everything she'd endured. When he returned hours later, exhausted and blood-stained from treating injured prisoners and guards alike, Zara was waiting with concern, evident in her storm-gray eyes. How many? She asked softly. 3 dead, 12 injured, Marcus reported, slumping in his chair. It could have been worse. You saved lives today, Zara said. That matters. Marcus looked up to find her watching him with something like respect. So did you, when you told me to be careful. A silence stretched between them, different from the tense quiet of their early encounters. This was comfortable, almost intimate. Zara said quietly. When this is over, when they decide my fate, will you remember that we're not all monsters? He met her gaze steadily. Will you remember that we're not all killers? She nodded slowly. Perhaps there's hope for both our species yet. As Marcus left that night, he realized something had fundamentally shifted. Zara was no longer just a patient or prisoner. She was becoming someone he cared about. The transfer order arrived on Marcus's desk like a death sentence. Zara would be moved to a maximum security facility in 3 days, where her fate would likely be execution or permanent imprisonment. He stared at the official seal, his hands trembling with an emotion he couldn't name. When he entered the medical wing that evening, Zara was standing, despite her restraints, her enhanced senses having already detected his distress. Bad news? She asked, though her tone suggested she already knew. Marcus couldn't meet her eyes. They're transferring you. Day after tomorrow. Zara absorbed this information with the stoic acceptance of a warrior, but Marcus caught the slight tension that ran through her frame. It's what I expected. It's not right, Marcus said fiercely. You were trying to save your people's children. That doesn't deserve death. The war demands justice, Zara replied, but her voice lacked conviction. Your people lost family too. They stood in heavy silence, the weight of their impossible situation pressing down on them. Else. Marcus found himself studying Zara's face, memorizing the elegant lines of her alien features, the way her silver-blue skin seemed to glow softly in the medical bay's lighting. Tell me about your home, Marcus said suddenly. Before the war. Zara's expression softened. The Shadow Realm is beautiful. Crystal formations that sing in the wind, forests of silver trees that glow at night. Cities are built into the mountainsides, connected by bridges that span vast canyons. She paused, lost in memory. Catherian children learn to fly before they can walk properly. We have wings that unfold from our shoulders. Did you know that? Marcus shook his head, fascinated. The intelligence reports never mentioned wings. We keep them folded when we fight. They're vulnerable. Zara smiled sadly. I used to take my sister flying through the crystal caves. She would laugh and chase the light patterns. What's her name? Marcus asked gently. Nira. She's only 16 cycles old, barely adult by our standards. Without me, she's defenseless. Marcus saw the anguish. Zara tried to hide behind her warriors. Mask. On impulse, he moved closer, his hand reaching for the energy restraint controls. What are you doing? Zara asked, alarmed. Giving you a choice, Marcus said, his fingers hovering over the release mechanism. Heck, you could overpower me easily. Once these are off, escape during the night shift change. Zara stared at him in shock. You would sacrifice your career, possibly your life? For me? Marcus met her gaze steadily. Yes. Why? The question hung between them, loaded with implications neither dared speak aloud. Marcus stepped closer, close enough to see the flecks of silver in her gray eyes. Because somewhere in the last 2 weeks you stopped being the enemy and became ... He searched for words. Someone I care about. Zara's breath caught. In Catherian culture, such admissions carried deep significance. Marcus, we're from different species. Different sides of a war. Does that change how you feel? He asked quietly. She was silent for a long moment, then slowly shook her head. No, it doesn't. The admission hung between them like a bridge neither had expected to cross. Marcus reached up slowly, giving her time to pull away, and touched her cheek. Her skin was warm, softer than he'd imagined.
Ow.
Then let me help you get home to Nira. Zara closed her eyes, leaning slightly into his touch. I escaped, they'll hunt me, they'll hunt you too. Then we disappear together. Her eyes snapped open. You would leave your life here? What life? Marcus asked with bitter honesty. I have no family left, no real friends. I go through the motions of living while carrying ghosts. Zara searched his face, her enhanced senses reading the truth in his words. Slowly she nodded. At the borderlands there are places there where neither side ventures. We could try, Marcus finished. He pressed the release sequence, and the energy restraints flickered and died. Zara flexed her shoulders, her hidden wings unfurling slightly in an unconscious gesture of freedom. They were beautiful, iridescent membranes that caught and refracted the light. You're magnificent, Marcus whispered. For the first time since he'd known her, Zara smiled. Not the bitter expression of a captured warrior, but something warm and genuine. She stepped closer, her hand finding his. Tomorrow night, she said, during the shift change, I know the guard rotations now. Marcus nodded, knowing he was crossing a line from which there could be no return. But looking into Zara's eyes, feeling the gentle pressure of her alien hand in his, he realized he'd already crossed it days ago. The abandoned mining station in the borderlands became their sanctuary. Hidden in a dead system between human and Catherian space, it offered the isolation they desperately needed. Marcus had managed to acquire basic supplies and medical equipment before their escape, while Zara's warrior skills helped them establish defenses against the harsh environment. Living together revealed new dimensions to both of them. Zara was surprisingly domestic when not in combat mode, her movements graceful as she prepared their simple meals with ingredients foraged from the station's hydroponic gardens. Marcus discovered a peaceful contentment he'd thought lost forever. Watching her work while he cataloged their medical supplies. You're staring again, Zara observed without turning around, amusement coloring her voice. Can you blame me? Marcus replied, not bothering to deny it. I never imagined I'd find beauty in exile. Zara set down the nutrient tablets she'd been sorting and turned to face him. 6 weeks of safety had transformed her. The constant tension was gone, replaced by a serenity that made her alien features even more striking. Do you regret it? She asked, leaving your world behind? Marcus moved closer, his hand finding the small of her back in a gesture that had become natural between them. Never, do you? How could I regret finding you? Zara replied softly. Their relationship had deepened gradually, built on shared experiences and genuine affection. The Catherian courtship rituals were complex, involving displays of trust and vulnerability that Zara had begun incorporating into their daily interactions. She would hunt for him, bringing back the choicest portions. She would groom his hair with careful attention, her claws surprisingly gentle against his scalp. In return, Marcus learned to read her moods, understanding when she needed space to process her warrior instincts, and when she craved the comfort of his presence. He would massage her shoulders where her wings connected, helping relieve the tension that built up when she kept them folded for extended periods. "Show me," Marcus said one evening, as they watched the binary sunset through the station's viewport. "Ch. You what? Your wings? Really show me?" Zara hesitated. Among Catharians, displaying one's wings was an intimate act, reserved for family or life partners. But Marcus had earned that trust. Slowly, she unfurled them to their full span, nearly 8 feet of iridescent membrane that caught the dying light like stained glass. Marcus's breath caught. "They're incredible. They're impractical for most environments," Zara said self-consciously. "That's why we learned to fold them." "They're part of you," Marcus replied, reaching out to trace the delicate wing structure. "They're perfect." Under his gentle touch, Zara shivered. The wings were highly sensitive, connected to nerve clusters that registered the slightest sensation. No human had ever touched them before. "Marcus," she whispered, her voice carrying a note he'd never heard before. He understood the invitation in her tone, the trust she was offering, slowly, reverently. He explored the wing's structure while Zara trembled under his ministrations. When she finally folded them around both of them, creating a private cocoon of intimacy, Marcus knew they had crossed another threshold. Their first kiss was tentative, mindful of the differences between their species. But passion quickly overcame caution as they discovered how perfectly they fit together despite their alien origins. Zara's skin seemed to glow brighter under his touch, while Marcus lost himself in her storm-gray eyes. Later, as they lay entwined under the blanket of her wings, Marcus traced the ritual markings on Zara's arms. "What do these mean?" "They tell the story of my battles, my victories, my losses," she explained. "This one is for my first hunt. It's for protecting my sister from raiders. This," her voice caught, "this is for my parents who died in the early war." Marcus kissed each marking gently. "And this?" he asked, indicating an unmarked space on her shoulder. Zara smiled, her fingers intertwining with his. "That space is for you. When this conflict ends, when we're free to be together openly, I'll have it marked." The human who taught a warrior to love? Marcus felt his throat tighten with emotion. "We will end this war, Zara. Somehow." "Together," she agreed, pulling him closer. "Whatever comes, we face it together." Outside their sanctuary, the binary stars set completely, leaving them in the gentle darkness of space. But wrapped in each other's arms, neither felt the cold. The peace negotiations began 6 months later, sparked by an unlikely source, recordings of Marcus and Zara's escape that had spread throughout both human and Catharian networks. Their story became a symbol of hope, proof that understanding was possible between the species. Ambassador Helena Kroos, Marcus's former commanding officer, arrived at the mining station with a small diplomatic team. Zara's sister Nira accompanied the Catharian delegation, having grown into a formidable negotiator despite her youth. "You two have caused quite a stir," Helena said wryly as they gathered in the station's main conference room. "Both governments are demanding your return for trial." "And what did you tell them?" Marcus asked, his arm around Zara's waist in a protective gesture that didn't go unnoticed. "That they need you more than they need revenge," Nira interjected, her resemblance to Zara striking despite her smaller frame. "The Shadow Clan has declared you both heroes. Your example has inspired others to question the war's necessity." Negotiations were complex, requiring careful balance between human pragmatism and Catharian honor culture. Zara's warrior status gave her voice weight among her people, while Marcus's medical background helped address the health crises that had driven much of the conflict. "The disease outbreaks can be contained," Marcus explained during one session. "We've developed treatment protocols that work for both species. Sharing medical knowledge would benefit everyone." "And the territorial disputes?" asked Commander Hayes, the human military representative. Zara unfolded a holographic map of the disputed systems. "The Shadow Clan proposes joint settlements. Humans excel at infrastructure, Catharians at environmental adaptation. Combining our strengths could make these worlds prosperous for both peoples. Weeks of careful diplomacy culminated in a historic moment, the first interspecies peace treaty in galactic history. The signing ceremony took place aboard a neutral space station. With representatives from dozens of worlds attending, Marcus stood beside Zara as she signed the treaty with her ritual blade, the metal gleaming as it carved her name into the document. When his turn came, he used a simple stylus, but the significance was no less profound. With this treaty, Zara announced to the assembly, "We declare that love is stronger than fear, understanding greater than hatred." The crowd erupted in cheers. From both species, Nira embraced her sister tearfully while Helena clapped Marcus on the shoulder with genuine pride. But the ceremony's true highlight came moments later when Zara stepped forward, addressing the mixed assembly in both languages. "My people have a saying, the heart knows no borders. Today, I ask you to witness as I claim my mate according to both human and Catherian custom." She turned to Marcus, her wings unfurling in a display that drew gasps from the human observers. In her hands, she held a crystal pendant carved with both their names. "Marcus of Terra, will you accept this bond? Will you be my partner in peace, as you have been my strength in exile?" Marcus took the pendant, feeling its weight and warmth. "Zara of the Shadow Clan, I accept this bond. In war and peace, in joy and sorrow, in this life and whatever comes after." The ceremony that followed blended traditions from both cultures. Rings exchanged human style, wings spread in Catherian blessing. When they kissed, the crowd erupted again. But Marcus heard only the beating of Zara's heart against his chest. Months later, they established the first interspecies colony on a world they named Harmony. Children of both races played together in the settlement's gardens while their parents worked side by side on projects that benefited everyone. Marcus ran the colony's medical center, treating patients regardless of species. Zara led the security forces, a mixed unit of human and Catherian personnel who had become fiercely loyal to their hybrid command structure. In the evenings, they would walk through the settlement hand in hand, watching the sunset paint their new world in shades of hope. Zara's wings would catch the light as children ran up to greet them, and Marcus would marvel at how natural it all seemed. "Any regrets?" Zara asked one evening as they stood overlooking the colony from their balcony. Marcus pulled her closer, feeling her wings fold around them both. "Only that it took a war to bring us together." Perhaps, Zara replied, that was the only way a stubborn species would learn to listen. Below them, human and Catherian families shared dinner under the alien stars, their laughter mixing in the warm evening air. The war was over, replaced by something better, a future built on understanding, acceptance, and the revolutionary idea that love could indeed conquer all. In the distance, their newest project took shape, a school where children of both species would learn together, ensuring that future generations would see each other as neighbors rather than enemies. The building's architecture blended human engineering with Catherian aesthetics, its crystal windows catching and refracting light in patterns that would have made Zara's destroyed homeworld proud. As night fell over Harmony, Marcus and Zara retired to their quarters, their home filled with mementos from both their worlds and artifacts from their shared adventures. Tomorrow would bring new challenges as their colony grew, but tonight belonged to them, two beings from different worlds who had found in each other not just love, but hope for all their peoples.